What's one leadership skill that can bridge divides, build trust, and inspire action? The answer? Empathy. But empathy isn't just about understanding, it's about acting with compassion and purpose. On today's episode, we're going to explore why empathy matters in leadership. Welcome to the Teach-Lead-Innovate podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of innovation, leadership, and transformative ideas shaping the future of education and technology. Each episode is a journey into the minds of visionary educators, thinkers, and leaders who are not just talking about change, they're living it. Real people leading real change. This is where passion meets practice and ideas come to life. Welcome to the Teach-Lead-Innovate podcast. All right, everybody. Welcome to Teach-Lead-Innovate. It's Walk the Talk Wednesday, where we focus on actionable leadership behaviors and teaching practices that align with core values. And today we're talking about leading with empathy and why it's essential, how it transforms schools, and we're going to share some real-world examples of empathetic leadership in action. So let's dive in. We talk about empathy, we're specifically talking about the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. In leadership, it means putting yourself in someone else's shoes to connect, build trust, and to create a positive environment. Research by Goldman emphasizes that empathy is a cornerstone of emotional intelligence, a key predictor of leadership effectiveness. Leaders who demonstrate empathy foster stronger relationships, improve team morale, and drive organizational success. But empathy in leadership isn't just theoretical. It's practical and transformative. And I want to share with you right now 3 specific examples of empathetic leadership where it's making a difference. All right, so at Mark Anthony Middle School in Detroit, Michigan, Principal Erica Johnson implemented a monthly Parent Empathy Hour, where parents could share their concerns about school policies, student struggles, and community challenges. By actively listening and acting on their feedback, Johnson gained community trust and increased parent involvement by 40% over 2 years. 40%, huge number. And in the area of supporting staff during crisis, at Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, Principal Ty Thompson focused on staff well-being by organizing weekly empathy circles. This was particularly important because they had some tragic events at Douglas High School, and this was in response to them. And so teachers and administrators shared their emotions in a safe space facilitated by mental health professionals. And according to a case study by Smith and Parker, these sessions helped reduce staff burnout and fostered a culture of resilience and mutual support. In the area of students, right, and kind of building empathy for students, 5th grade teacher Maria Lopez at Jefferson Elementary School in Portland, Oregon, introduced feelings check-ins every morning to give students a chance to express their emotions. Using a simple Jamboard, students rated their mood and wrote one sentence about how they were feeling. Lopez reported a significant reduction in behavioral incidents and an increase in student engagement over the semester. So there's 3 examples, but honestly, the examples could continue for several, hundreds of episodes, because empathy really matters. If you're going to build trust in your school, in your district, your educational community, you need to establish that empathy, and you need to understand how your people, how your students feel. And it just has to be authentic, right? So why is empathy so powerful in leadership? Let me give you 3 research-backed benefits. So according to Goldman, empathy builds stronger relationships by fostering trust and understanding between leaders and their teams. It also leads to higher job satisfaction. Research by Kearns found that employees who perceive their leaders as empathetic report greater job satisfaction and commitment. And it leads to better student outcomes. A study by Jennings and Greenberg showed that empathetic teaching practices improve student emotional well-being, academic performance, and classroom climate. And so I want to share with you 3 actionable strategies to start leading with empathy today. Number 1, practice active listening. We talked about this last week, the power of active listening. Take time to listen without interrupting or offering solutions immediately. Ask open-ended questions like, how can I support you in this situation? Remember, the focus is on the other person, not you. Acknowledge and validate feelings. When someone shares their challenges, acknowledge their emotions with phrases like, that sounds really challenging. I can see why you feel that way. But empathy isn't just about understanding. It's about acting. You've got to take action based on feedback, and you got to implement changes based on the feedback you receive to show that you truly value others' perspectives. Now, of course, empathy doesn't come without challenges. Leaders often feel pressed for time or overwhelmed by competing priorities. But here's how to overcome those barriers. Make sure you schedule time for connection and build regular check-ins with staff, students, or families into your routine. Avoid assumptions at all costs. Don't assume you know what someone is going through. Ask questions to clarify their perspective. And model empathy for your team. When leaders prioritize empathy, it sets a tone for the entire school community. Empathy is more than a leadership skill. It's a mindset and a practice that transforms schools and communities. By leading with empathy, you create a culture of trust, connection, and shared purpose. As always, I want to thank you for joining me on Teach-Lead-Innovate. And I want to know, how do you practice empathy in your school or classroom? Be sure to share your stories with me on social media. I'm on Instagram at the Cycling Superintendent, or of course you can email me, and the email is in the show notes. So everybody, let's keep walking the talk and leading with our hearts. That's the most important thing. Let's always lead with our heart. And of course, until next time, stay inspired, stay positive, and have the best day ever.